Hello, welcome along. Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and here we are back now on this beautiful Pocher Porsche 917K. You can see her here, absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, this is part 16 now, I think, of the build, and we're here still working on step 25. So what we need to do is, if you remember in part 14, we glued the wheel in, we glued the cap on, we glued the valve on. I've got this roll cage part here which just comes off. I haven't glued that in, I probably never will. And then we need to look at these straps, and these straps are around the back and they're holding them. You can see it's SB2. Now when you look at your belts, you'll see there's a wider belt there, and you can see there's a narrower belt here. SB2 is the narrower belt. Now what I've done here is looked at this, and you can see that it's just sort of all separate, but it's designed to be glued together. I looked at the prototype model and it's designed to be glued together. So what I've done, I've cut the two pieces at 25mm. I've put like an angle on them to make this sort of Y shape, and this piece here is 50mm. And then what I've done is put some tape underneath and put some super glue on there, and I'm going to see if it will hold. If you remember, we had some issues before, but what I've done this time is put super glue on the bottom, okay, and I've used the super glue 4PE, the VMS 4PE, let it go off a bit so it gets a bit gel-like, so it doesn't just soak in and wick away. Put that on there, and then place this belt on top, and then on top of this belt I've put some of the black thin and let that really soak in. And I'm just going to leave that now for a few hours, because this VMS glue can take 12 hours to sort itself out. So I'm just going to leave that now for a few hours and see what it's like. But I thought I'd come in now and start this video and just show you, these are the buckles, just show you how I've done that. So you can see that there. So if it works or if it doesn't work, you know, if I did it a bit tighter, then you know what to do. But that's basically how I've done that. So I'm not sure if this is going to hold or not. It certainly appears like it might. The tape underneath is just to stop it sticking to the actual cutting mat. If I have to cut the tape way behind, I will. But we'll see how it holds. And then what we'll do is we'll put these buckles on the model and then thread these through, so we got the straps are nice and taut. So basically on the model they are going to go, there's going to be one in there, and one in there. So we want it to be nice and taut, so obviously we need to fit the buckles first to see where we're going, even if we sort of mark them or tape them or something, so that when we actually do screw them in, then we've got a good idea of what we're doing. So, and they are going to have to be tapped out, because I think we got screws, yeah, we've got screws D going in there. They're M1.5, so in fact I probably won't be able to even get this. There's no depth to them at all, so probably won't be able to get a tap in there. Let's have a quick look a minute. Let's just have a quick look and see while we're on camera, and then you'll know whether you can do it or not. The other thing I do with my taps for jobs like this, I grind the end off flat. If you go back and look at some of the earlier videos, I grind the end off flat, and then that makes it means the thread can go deeper, because then it's not bottoming out so quickly. So that can go into there. As you can see, there is no depth in that hole whatsoever. I have a feeling we're going to have to drill that one out, which is a shame, because we're going to get swarf everywhere. Yeah, they're all the same. So when it comes to fitting the screws, I'm not quite sure if it's going to work. We may have to just use them as sort of pegs, if you like, and glue them in. Let's just grab a D-screw. Here I am, unprepared. Let's just grab a D-screw from here. There's no way those holes are deep enough. So we'll grab a D-screw, drop that into here at the back. Yeah, it's the holes are nothing like deep enough, but I can see why they haven't drilled them deep enough, because it would have severely weakened this tube here. When you pick it up, it would probably snap. So I think we'll just have to go with what it is, really. Perhaps put a drop of super glue in the top of the screw so it doesn't look like a screw anymore. We may do that on these as well. I know some of you have been filling in the holes and grinding the tubes so that you don't have that screw there, but you know, they don't look great, but unfortunately there's no real way around it. You know, they could have it just glued, but then when you pick it up like that, it would probably just break. And as I say, if we drill those any deeper, chances are they're going to break. So let's see where we go. Let's see where we go. So anyway, I'm going to let these belts dry, and then I'll come back. Okay, so they've done that, taken it off, and it's only been about half an hour. It seems to have worked quite well. However, you can clearly see when I put this here, there's no way it's going to reach. So, I would like to know what on earth was in the mind of the person that drew this. Because what they've told us here is this one's 25mm, this one's 25mm, this one's 50. And that's what I've done. Okay, 25, 25, 50. But they're showing you them not joined together. But if you look at the actual pictures on the website of the model, the prototype, you will see they are glued together. And what you find, these are not long enough. But you've only got this much left, spare, which is 50mm, which is enough to cut another two 25mm lengths, which is absolutely no use to us whatsoever. So either what we can do is somehow extend these and hope it doesn't notice, okay? Or just don't bother with them at all. Now, looking at real cars, they shouldn't have the nut on them anyway, and the couple of pictures I could find don't have them strapped down. So we could just leave it off completely, or what we could do is extend them. Or the third option is go and buy a 1/25th scale, 1/24th scale aftermarket seatbelt set, or maybe a 1/12th scale actually, maybe 1/12th. So yeah, thanks once again for another cock up in the instructions. It seems that these last 2 or 3 stages there's been just countless mistakes, and you know, it's just annoying, and this is extremely annoying because there's nothing I can do about it now. They need to be 35mm, guys, okay? Even 40mm if you're going to do it like this, if you're going to glue them together. I don't know if they intend us to put that in, but they're telling us to do this first. I don't know if they're intended to put those in and then push the nut in on top to hold the straps, but it wouldn't be like that anyway. I don't even think the nut should be there because they're centre lock wheels. Why would they have a big nut holding the wheel down? And if they did have a big nut holding the wheel down, you don't need the straps. So there you go. But the pictures I've found don't have any straps on them at all. So let's cross that bridge when we come to it. That can be added at any point. So yeah, now we can just move along. So we've got 26. We're starting on the bodywork. Now the first thing I'm going to do here is paint all of this bodywork interior in this grey colour, which is how it should be. So that's Tamiya LP12, and the same for this clamshell, I think. Or maybe this should be black, I'm not sure. But I know certainly the interior here, the roof area and everything, believe it or not, this is looking up underneath. I know it looks like you're looking sort of from front right, you're actually looking from lower left. That's the underside. So we're going to paint all that in there grey, paint the insides of the doors, and then we'll get on with that. So I'll see you back in a minute for that. In the meantime, we'll think about what we're going to do with these straps. And we're back. So here we are. It's a long time since I filmed that last little segment with the spare wheel straps and everything. Today is actually Saturday the 29th, yeah, 29th of March 2025. So you're watching this tonight. I've left it this long. As a lot of you will know, I've had a lot of review stuff to get done, and I've been quite unwell with this bloody stinking cold again. So anyway, where are we now? On the 917s, it would appear that they were always painted in like this lovely light grey colour. The interior floor pan that Pocher give you is painted in a light grey colour, which I feel is a little too light. It needs to be slightly darker. So what I've done is painted it with LP12, which is a good old tough lacquer paint. It's IJN Cray Cure Arsenal. Sorry, it's Imperial Japanese Navy Grey Cure Arsenal. This is the colour that Yamato would be painted in. So there we go. They do a full range of all the Japanese colours for the Japanese ships, so that's really good. And those of you that are into Japanese ships, you will soon see a full review on this channel of the brand new Very Fire Takao, which I have here to review. I have the deluxe edition, so it's got all the resin and photo etch and everything in it, and that'll be here soon. And also those of you that are into Japanese ships, The 1/200th Yamato is coming back into stock in the UK, and Jadlam are going to have some, and they're going to be doing an offer with a code with my channel name. So there we go. So what have we done? You can see I've roughly masked here. What I've done some tests in some inconspicuous areas, and using ordinary IPA, we are okay on this glossy blue colour. It's absolutely fine. On the orange, it's not. It just takes it off. So obviously they've painted it blue, lacquered it, whatever, or it's a 1-pack paint. I don't know, 2-pack paint. But the orange has been painted afterwards, and the IPA attacks it very quickly. So be very, very careful. People are asking. Somebody was asking last week if they could clean their Lamborghini body with IPA, and I said, yeah, there's IPA and there's IPA. I've got two. I've told this story many times. I've got 2 lots of IPA here. They both come from Amazon. They're both from different manufacturers, but they are both 99.9%. One of them, if I could spray a tank body or something, or a car body with this, leave it for a month, put it in this one IPA, and within about 20 minutes the paint will be gone. It'll be cleared off. The other IPA I've got, which is also 99.9%, I could put the same body in that and leave it for 3 weeks and it doesn't touch it. So go figure. It's ridiculous. So anyway, there we go. So what I'm going to do is paint the inside of this with IPA, with LP12. You'll notice I haven't removed it. They come with these plastic sheets. I'll throw them away. They come with these plastic sheets, which are kind of, it's got like a very thin oil on here, almost like a WD-40 cut type thing, to protect it. And obviously I haven't removed it because that'll make any overspray very easy to remove because it's going onto an oil background. And I've covered up the orange here because I worry it's going to get paint on it. In fact, I need to do, I don't know why I haven't done it, I need to do that that lip there as well, because obviously it can't be gone over too much. So there we are. You're probably going to see lots of awkward pauses in this video, guys, because I have to keep stopping to cough. So what I do is, rather than cough and then go back and edit it out, what I do is stop the video, because that way then I know when I stopped I coughed and I won't miss any, because you don't want to listen to me bloody coughing and sniffing, do you? Here we go again. Alright, so I've wiped the inside of the panels down with IPA, so they're all degreased. I'm not really too worried how good the paint sticks, to be honest, because it's not really going to get touched very much. But I just want it to be grey. I don't want to be looking at this blue inside. And also when we remove the front panel there, I've covered all of this with masking tape because it would stick. I haven't done this because it won't stick on there. You also need to be very careful. Here you can see I put a piece of paper underneath because I think this is a decal, and I'm not sure how well they've gone down. So putting masking tape over them is asking for trouble. So be very, very careful with them. I did put a piece of paper over it and try to stick a piece of masking tape down, but it's all oily, and I'd rather just have it oily than and I can wipe any overspray off then. So without further ado, I'm going to go and get this painted. I'm going to use one of my Galeri airbrushes, probably one with a 0.5 nozzle, so I can get the paint down quickly. And I won't cover any of that, but I will show you after I've done it what I did use. So back in a minute. Alright, so as you can see, we're all done. Main body's over here. So we'll have a go at taking this masking off. Hopefully we won't do any paint lifting or anything. And what I'm hoping to be able to do, I'm sorry about Dottie in the background. What I'm going to do is turn this camera off. Okay, so to clean up these edges, to get a nice clean edge like this, like you can see here, we've got the definite blue edge compared to the grey. What I'm doing is just taking my IPA, and this is the stronger stuff. So you can see here we've got some overspray on the edge. All we've got is a bit of toilet tissue, just literally with a bit of IPA, rub around. Don't hang around on the orange, because as I can show you there, as soon as you touch it you get orange paint coming off, so be careful, be very careful on the orange. Sorry guys, I have to keep stopping because this bloody cough, it's just absolutely, I'm going to go, it's Saturday today as I said, I'm going to call the doctors on Monday I think. It's just going on and on and on, see if they can give me some strong lozenges or something. There we go, see now I've touched the paint there. With IPA on my fingers I've touched the paint, so I'm going to let that dry and see if I can just gently get it off with some water or something, because basically I've got tissue stuck to there. Okay, So that's that all done. I've done the body off camera because I didn't want a chance knocking the camera. Just going to wet the tissue. There we go. That's all good as gold. I mean, it doesn't need to be perfect because it's just, you know, it's all inside, but it's nice to give it a nice edge, isn't it? You may as well do it properly. If you're going to do it properly. Okay, so there we are. So that's all our panels done, all nice and grey inside, so we can let that dry for an hour or so and then get back to it. I did mess up a little bit in here where the die cast was a bit rough. I had some tissue left on the surface and I've tried to scratch it off, and as you can see I've made a mark in the blue paint, but I don't think we're going to worry too much about that, are we? So I sprayed this with the Galeri Barbaratus Rex Swallowtail airbrush with the 0.5 needle and nozzle, and it worked absolutely beautifully. The only issue I had was I had paint build up on the air cap, which gave the occasional spatter. And then I looked at my other Swallowtail, which is a siphon feed, and I had a bigger air cap, so I don't know what's going on there. I still contact Galeri and ask the question. Here we are. Right. So as I say, we'll let that dry for a while and then we can continue with the build. I almost forgot, guys, the tail end. The tail end has got to be painted black. I'm not sure if they were painted at all, but the pictures I can find show... that was Dottie yawning. The pictures I can find show the clamshell at the back being painted in black. So I'm just going to degrease this with some IPA. I don't think they spray the oil on the inside, but they certainly do on the outside. But as I say, leave it on there. You can see I've got it resting on a microfiber towel. Can you see Dottie's nose here? What's this here? What's this? Dottie, what's this here? There we go, there's a Dottie nose. Okay, so there you go. You can see we've got that all painted and the paint's not quite dry yet in some areas. That's why it looks all blotchy. I don't care that it looks blotchy because it probably was blotchy. I find it hard to believe they painted it because the weight of the paint, you know, they were very concerned about weight with these cars. So, but anyway, the ones I've seen have been painted black. So black it is. I don't want to leave it blue anyway. It wouldn't have been, it definitely wouldn't have been painted blue. It probably would have been just bare fiberglass. So it would have been like a yellowy, browny colour with all splodges and stains on it. But anyway, whatever it is what it is. For a little special treat, here's the Barbaratus Rex Swallowtail from Galeri. And what I've done here, whoops, Daisy, I've just tipped paint all over the model. Great. Right, so that's that now. I've cleaned up my hands, cleaned up the airbrush. And while I was cleaning up the paint cup, I managed to unscrew it and got paint all in the threads now, so that's all going to have to be done. So yeah, they do give you a cap. They give you a pressing cap that would have happened if I'd had the cap on, but I never used them because I'm stupid. Right, so just to show you how good this thing is, I'm going to test on a piece of towel first, because after the paint's been in there for a while like that, you might find it's dried around the nozzle, so just clear it out first. Just give it a blow off. There we go. And then I'm just going to literally plaster this on because I'm not worried about finishes or anything. All I want to do is get it so that it's black. You can see I'm just pulling right back on the trigger. Oh dear, this bloody cough. And you can see that the actual, you know, the paint's just flowing. There's no spattering. You can just come off and on again, no spattering at all. I can do that over there to get a sort of textured finish to it if I want to. But there we go. You can see how easy that is. And the other thing I found that's the beauty of this with the trigger is you can be ambidextrous. So I find it quite hard to spray with my left hand. But with this, it's easy because it's just literally pulling a trigger. The other thing I always do when you're spraying, I do the same with cars. If you notice, I don't do this. I do this. And that way, when you're always sort of, your finger is pointing to where you're going to paint. It's ever so funny. So there we go. Right, I can do that as well. But it's better to do that, especially if you're doing fine areas. But this is literally just chucking on some black paint. I'm not worried about, as I say, I'm not worried about finishes or anything. It's just got to be black, because when it's lifted up, you're not really going to see, you're not going to look at it, but you'll just know that it's not blue, that's all. So there we are. Right, let's go and get this cleaned up, clean myself up, and then we can come along and do all these edges. Alright, we've got a drop of IPA there on a piece of tissue, and just going to go around the edge, as you can see, and just remove. As long as you do it fairly quickly. I mean, this is, I've cleaned the airbrush up, this has probably been on here about 10 minutes. As long as you do it quickly, you'll be okay, and the gloss blue will withstand the IPA. Nothing stronger. It will, if you start to use leveling thinners and stuff like that, you will start to rub it away. The problem with using this tissue is it tends to break up. The problem with using kitchen towel is that the sheets are quite big. I mean, I know you can tear them down or whatever, but then they just tear up the same. So there we go. We'll just get all these edges cleaned up nicely, just like that, as you can see, and then you'll end up with a nice blue body without any black lines in it where the joints are, and also this will look nice and clean around here. So there we go, a bit more rubbing on there. I'm being careful of this. I've got a Golf Porsche decal down here, so I'm being careful around that. It's nice that they put some of the decals on for us. I think it's also quite nice that they've left some as well, because if they put the decals on the doors and on the side skirts, chances are, with all your build-up tolerance and the tolerance in the factory, chances are you would have found that the it wouldn't line up, and it just would, even if it was just slightly out, it would look terrible. What I intend to do on here, I think, is probably put them on in one piece, or do they come in separate pieces? I can't remember now. If they come in one piece, I'll put them on as one piece, let them settle for a while, and then with a very sharp knife slice them through the door, and that way you're guaranteed good alignment. But we also need to be absolutely 100% sure our doors are fitted correctly, opening, closing correctly, seated correctly, before we even think about putting decals on. And when it comes to decals, I probably won't do it on camera, because whenever I do decals on camera, as those of you that watch my model builds know, it always goes bloody wrong. And the trouble is with these, they're big old decals, and we only get one shot. You don't get any spares. You only get one shot at it. Now here we've got orange, so I'm going to be very, very careful. In fact, I'll use a cotton bud there. So here, I know for a fact that if I rub away with the IPA on the orange, I know that it will take it off. Just going to very gently go over it. There we go. Okay, so we may have to put some orange paint in there, because that's how it is from the factory. I haven't just rubbed that off, that's how it is. You can see that down here I've done the edge in black to try and make it look nice and clean, so we'll just remove that excess. We've also got some excess there on the orange, so I'm going to have to be extremely careful doing that. I really don't want to go through that orange paint. It looks like it's tougher on here. That's a bit unusual. On the front, as soon as I touched it, it just came away. On the doors, it was on the top of the doors I tested it. In a space where it wouldn't be seen. That's unusual. Okay, and now these areas in here, you can see we've got some black overspray, but I want to keep the black edge on the bottom, so what I'm going to do in there is just grab a cotton bud, get that dampened, remove some of the excess, and then what I'll do is come along here and just rub it away, concentrating on the bottom in the root really. The cloth can do the rest, but what we don't want to do is rub the black paint off that edge. There we go, just give that a gentle wipe over it. I'll get rid of all that. I need a new piece of tissue. I'm just going to carry on, get this done off camera, and then I'll be back. Okay, so with all that bodywork done, all the painting done on the inside, I'm now looking at these headlamp assemblies. It's worth noting that on the kit here it says L1, L3. These are the two main pods for the headlamps, and they're coming out. They're numbered H9, and the other one didn't have a number on at all. So they're in the bag with the H parts. And then we've got these chrome pieces going up underneath, and then the lenses going in the front. We've got the lenses over here still on the sprue. So what I've noticed is where these go in, I'm going to take one of these off the sprue, just leave a bit on the bottom, but where this goes in, we are going to see, they're showing it going in from underneath, it won't, it actually goes in from this side, doesn't it? We are going to be able to see, at the bottom you can see there's some chrome there showing around the bottom on the inside. So I'm going to paint the inside of these black. So let's get one of the smaller ones off as well. So this is they're both number 1, they're the same, and these are both the same as well, these are both 2, so don't worry about getting them mixed up. So that's going to pop in like that. And you can see on the base of there you've got lots of chrome showing down the bottom. So what I'm going to do is get the chrome off with a sanding stick and then paint it black. Alright, so I've done the black painting like you can see on there, painted around the black, so when we put them in we don't have any chrome on the bottom now, so that looks a lot better, doesn't it? There's a bit of a gap down the side, I may go in with a bit of paint afterwards. And what I've got here is the, this is the VMS 4PE super glue, and what I'm going to do is just put some of this down here, and this will actually lock it in. What I find is this VMS for PE tends to dry a lot faster than a lot of the other VMS glues, especially the black thin. So what I want to do is just get this in here to sort of lock it in place, just like so. And then what we'll do, once that's locked in, we'll go around with some black and seal it in, and that might get rid of any gaps as well. So we'll hold this one in, put a finger on that one just in case. I'm making sure I don't go anywhere near the where my fingers are, because the glue will capillary under. And the other thing is, I'm going to cough again. The other thing to remember is don't put the clear parts in before you do this. Do this first, otherwise you'll find, because super glue makes your clear parts go cloudy. Okay, so be very careful of that. So we're going to do that, they're glued in. I'll do the same on the other 2, and then I'm going to go around with some black just to seal them in. And here and now, guys, I'm going to call it a day, because it's the afternoon, I need to go shopping, and I need to get a video out to you tonight. So what I am going to do there is grab a peg and just clamp that down in there so it dries in the correct position. Okay. Whoopsie daisy. There we are. So there we go. Right. I will see you all next week. Thanks, guys. Oh, this bloody cold is doing my head in, I can tell you. So I'm going to get everyone glued in. As I say, I'll let that dry, get some black around there, and I'll see you next week. I'll probably paint the backs black as well, because I think we'll be able to see this through the wheel arch, won't we? Right, I'll see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.